Like and subscribe in the next 5 seconds, or this will be in your bed tonight. Former burglars of I. Where is one place people should never hide valuables? Your shed. Seriously, lock your fucking shed. Even if your house is well locked, if your shed isn't, I likely have access to a plethora of tools I can use to gain access. Don't help the burglar. Lock your shed. Don't keep spare key near front door, under pot plant, under doormat, top of door frame etc. What about a fake door key? Edit. Thanks for the gold, people. I'm putting it in my fake wall safe. Why would a fake door need a key? Edit. Seeing all the responses to such a simple comment have really made my day. Feels good, man. Why are you excluding active burglars from the conversation? Plot twist. OP is an active burglar hoping to find places they've overlooked. They got into a house and are now waiting for some answers because they don't know where to look. Fire safes only are safe from fires. For like 20 minutes. That's why you gotta layer them for ultimate fire protection. My cousin lives in a bad neighborhood, so she went to a thrift store, bought an obvious looking jewelry box and a bunch of expensive looking costume jewelry that's actually worthless and put it in the box. She keeps this in a conspicuous place. Then she leaves a few 20s on top. This way if someone breaks in, they will grab this and run, ignoring some of her well hidden valuables. The old switcheroo. And where are those well hidden valuables? Just, out of curiosity. Also, side note, I used to do door-to-door sales for ADT. People would let me in the house and just tell me where all the important stuff was before even verifying I was legit. Don't do that. We had new windows in recently. The blokes that came took out the windows so fast and so quietly. I thought, shit, I hope they're paid enough to never think about doing break-ins. I imagine it would probably work well too. Sometimes the more obvious it is, the less people think to check. Put some high vis on, and just drill the door off. Nobody will probably say anything. Don't leave things out that people can see from outside your home or car. If you buy a new TV or computer, break down the box it came in. Don't just leave it by your garbage bin. Lock doors and windows. Keep your handbag close and closed. If someone wants to break in, they will. Don't keep everything out in the open, and have insurance on anything that is valuable. If someone wants to break in, they will. This is the most important takeaway from this thread. Most neighborhoods are relatively empty during the day and there's often not good visibility to back and side doors. And most locks are shit. Inside vacuum cleaner. We hid money in it and it got stolen with everything else in the house back in Syria. Edit. Thief was the military forces that invaded the area, not someone I know or someone desperate. Wow, that sucks. The sad thing is they weren't even using that vacuum cleaner. It was just gathering dust. Edit. Thanks for the silver. I'll hide it in my Dyson. Avoid having your valuables stolen by not having any valuables. Taps forehead. This is where my gold crown would go, if I had one. We had our apartments burgled. There were 4 apartments in the area. Guy kicked down the door, and apparently was in or out pretty quickly. I came home from work. Cop told me, never leave valuables in your nightstand. Might have even said bottom drawer. Sure enough, mine were checked. I could tell because my envelopes were moved from where I placed them. I lived in a 4 apartment block. Every apartment got broken into except mine. But the only easily accessible window to my apartment was my dog's room. Nothing like 90 pounds of her that doesn't like someone waking him up from a nap. Even better when the dog lets him in, but not out. For the college kids that might read this, don't keep your textbooks in your car. On the day of my finals, I had about 6 textbooks I was gonna sell after my finals. I left the books in my car while I took my tests. Came back to find someone broke my window out to steal the textbooks. Cop told me that it's very common and unlikely they will catch the guy. So I was out $700, which was huge as a college student. A net loss of $2.50 per textbook, according to Snoozy's Books Refund Value. Watch the show It Takes a Thief, if you can find it. That'll give you some good ideas about this stuff. Edit. Thank you for my first award, kind user. Who knew a simple comment would blow up like this? Oddly enough over something I have relevant experience with as a teenager/young adult. Definitely put it behind me, so it's kinda funny how this worked out. LOL. The biggest takeaway from that show, which I think they said once and only once before being censored by producers, is that all locks, alarms and your idea that your house is safe is wrong. If a pro wants to break in, they will. The best you can do is make your house a little more inconvenient than the next house, so they go there. Also, I love the episode where he stole the dog. The reality is a lock is nothing more than an inconvenience. They're easy to break and really just keeps petty thieves away. I've seen people make false outlets for hiding valuables like cash and jewelry. Just an idea, a burglar would have to be at your home for a long time to start checking outlets. Someone will be in for a surprise if they open the safe I keep in my nightstand. It's full of my kids' baby teeth. Easy cash trade with a tooth fairy though. Not a burglar, but our home has been broken into. We only had the one bedroom at the time. But the places that the burglar looked into were the closet, everything was thrown out. Desk drawers, found a bit of cash and our passports were taken. The entry furniture, drawers, under the bed, bedside tables. At least now I know where not to hide valuables. Not that I have any. Edit. Thanks for the gold. Kind stranger. I better hide it in the freezer now. Edit 2. Typo. Burglar not burglar. I can't fathom why someone would take passports. Like, those probably aren't worth the hassle or effort to sell. Identity theft isn't a joke, Jim. This doesn't exactly answer the question asked, but it is a tip on potentially protecting your valuables. Bear with me because it's a bit strange. Glue a spare key, not one that opens something important, under your doormat. Weird, right? A few years ago I did this in addition to installing cameras. Over the last couple of years I've seen this exact scenario play out. Thief walks to the door, checks under the mat, unsuccessfully tries to grab the key, backs up, looks around to see if anyone is watching, presumably because they think they have fallen for some trap prank where they are being surveilled, and leaves. They don't even search for another way in because it spooks them. This is great. My parents did something similar, but they also stuck a note to the underside of the mat saying look up. One time a kid did look up straight to our camera. Took it to the police, who couldn't do anything with it anyway because he didn't actually steal anything or damage any property. I had a Malamute dog years ago. Had another 2 later. But this was a particularly fluffy one. A friend had heard that it was possible to spin their fur, so I saved enough to knit several jumpers. Anyway, a burglar took stuff from our garage in this massive box of fur too. Must have been quite a surprise. A burglar stole my dad's box of dried up dog shit from the porch once. My dad goes out in the yard once a week to clean up the dog turds and usually throws them in an Amazon box and then tosses it. He left it on the porch for some reason and forgot about it. He realized he forgot about it when he saw it spilled open on the street a block down. We laugh about the turd burglar still. That's a great idea for if you have a problem with package thieves. Reading this discussion with fascination and imagining alternative life where I had stuff worthy of stealing. Also, my husband is a hoarder, so I would be grateful if somebody came and stole some stuff. Yep, anyone trying to find my valuables is going to have a hell of a job. It already looks like I've been burgled. Fake rocks are a dead giveaway. Sock drawers are cliche. If you have a small safe that's not bolted down, we are taking that thing. We all have a safe guy. Our goal is to get in and out pretty quickly. If you hide something in a random box all the way up in your attic, it's probably safe. Whatever you do, please don't leave your damn kid at home. Edit. Not actually a burglar. Check the username. So, leave a small safe full of bricks in a conspicuous place, and keep your real safe in a sock drawer. I actually thought not putting bricks in the safe, but rather fill the safe with a gas with a bad smell. A safe. Also, almost all locks are bullshit unless you had a locksmith put in security pins. But the robbers can just take the safe and figure it out later if time is an issue. Edit. On the lock issue, if you are in the US, there are about 5 major door lock manufacturers. A thief can have just 5 bump keys, plus a few others just in case, and get in your house easily. A bump key is just a referenced key that is ground down to 4 or 5 equal triangular points. When inserted with the proper bump key to the lock, you just bump the back of the key with a rubber mallet and try to time the turn when all of the pins align. Usually just takes about 5 tries or less. That's why you have to use a couple £100 gun safe that takes 3 people to get into a spot that it doesn't fit, so it's wedged in there. I hide my vegetables in the meat drawer of my refrigerator. Pro tip: hide your small valuables inside a used empty fire extinguisher. No one is going to steal a fire extinguisher. I had a fire extinguisher stolen from my car. Fuck, there goes my whole game plan. And where do you guys live? Just really curious. P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. If that was my name, I would make it my life mission to move to that address. Obligatory, never done it, but you'd be surprised at how often people leave their cars unlocked with nice things inside. A lot of people actually leave them unlocked with the keys inside, lol. It's how the majority of cars are stolen. Eliminating the easy opportunity is the easiest step and will do a lot to keep your valuables safe. Inside one of those small lock boxes. It's great when you find one because they're simple to open, and if they don't have a wall safe, then all of their main valuables and money are usually in it. Jackpot. My dad had a small one bolted to the floor that contained about $50,000 cash in it. He told me about it a few days before he died and said it was mine now, but he never gave me the combination or where it was exactly. Took me longer to find the thing than open it. I ended up prying it off the floor and taking the whole thing back to my house, where I had more tools to open it up. Must have had a giant house. Not a burglar or former burglar, but never hide keys and lock combinations in a jar near the door or under your welcome mat. Also, if you purchase something big, like a TV or something big, never leave the box near your home. The burglar would see it and know you have something valuable in there. I know this sounds crazy, but mow your lawn frequently. It'll show that you have been and had enough time to mow your lawn and that someone must be there. It's obvious, but only announce your trips when you're finished so at first nobody knows you're not there. Edit. Whoa, how did this get so many likes and replies? Only posted this barely yesterday. Tax driver, sir, please tell me where you wanna go. Me, nah man. I'll tell only after I reach there. Or announce a trip and don't go and capture the burglars yourself. That will definitely not backfire. Edit. Spelling. Obligatory, not a burglar, but I did work at bank. Another teller told me about how this woman brought in a flower pot to the girls' teller station. The bank teller was understandably confused when the woman pointed at the flower pot and says, "I need to make a deposit." Turns out, this woman had planted thousands of dollars in her flower pot over the years. The problem? She watered that flower for years with the money planted in the soil. Not only that, but she wrapped every bill in duct tape to keep the water from messing up the bills. The teller had to dig into the pot and help this woman unwrap money from duct tape. The teller said the worst part was the bills were soggy and moldy when they unwrapped them, so most of them were torn, or the ink was faded beyond readability, so the woman lost money. Don't put your money in flower pots or wrap it in duct tape. Edit to clarify to anyone who has questions. I have no idea why this lady did this except that she must have thought it kept her cash safe. I was told this story by my co-worker when I first started as a bank teller. She was always a truthful person, so I have reason to believe her. However, I recognize this is hearsay in terms of storytelling. I'm just repeating what I was told. The government does take damaged bills back and refunds you your money if you meet their guidelines. Links to said bureau and guidelines are in many comments below. Please utilize this if you are worried about your bill's integrity. Also, I worked at a credit union, so we were required to do ridiculous and odd things like this for customers. This is just one in many strange stories I heard and or experienced. To understand the teller's line of thinking, please note that any signs of a customer being unhappy was dealt with by being verbally reprimanded in front of the customer, even if we were following policy. That's an incredibly stupid place to leave thousands of dollars. It's probably a good idea if done properly. Instead of fucking duct tape, use bags or some sort of plastic wrap you can maybe shrink to the money. Multiple layers too. Then it should definitely be waterproof and pretty hidden inside a plant pot. Bonus tips. Probably add silica packets with the dollars. Might also want to spray the dollars with something so whatever nasty is already on the dollars doesn't start multiplying and growing. 50% of the people on my street are either retired or work from home or have a stay-home spouse. Always an old lady watching through her curtains. It's my safest home ever. I'm stay-at-home spouse. Aliens could land on my lawn and I wouldn't notice. I'm going to keep a small safe in the living room with a giant foam middle finger inside for when the day comes. Former burglars of I want to hear from the current burglars of I like burglars that don't get caught. Okay. My mother has a closet filled with food supplies, boxes of bags of spices and such. There's at least 3 dozen such boxes at all times in said closet, one of them, and she replaces it regularly so the expiration date remains relevant. She opens up carefully, fills with valuables, and then carefully closes back up. She had me try to find which one of the boxes it was. I genuinely couldn't tell from sight alone. Only the slightly different heft tipped me off after 10 minutes. No burglar will ever find that stash. No burglar will ever find that stash. They will now. Had my house burglarized by a so-called friend. He missed by far the most valuable thing. It's just a safe sitting on the laundry room floor. He missed it because I'm a scumbag and had it covered with a mountain of dirty clothes and towels. So not being tidy saved me upwards of 35k. Not a burglar, but I have experience since my mother used to hide my doll. Whenever I was bad and I'd always find it. Mothers of I never hide your child's stuff in cabinets high places. Even at 6 years old, I used to climb that BCH. This will get buried, but here we go. Not a burglar but some broke into my family's house 4 or 5 years ago when we were out on a concert. They checked everything, took all money and jewelry they could find, except my room was a mess to begin with. I left piles of clothes on the floor, my study desk messy AF, left piles of papers on both desk and floor. I was in a hurry before we all left and was searching for something I can't quite remember now. I had €800 and golden earrings on my desk, just sitting there. The burglars opened the doors and didn't move a thing. Left my €800 and golden earrings alone and moved to another room. From then on I have been using this as an excuse why I don't need to clean up my room. Looks like someone already hit this room. Done. Closets. Goldmine for jewelry. LED lighting is cheap these days. If your house is gonna be vacant for a while, consider investing in one of those smart lighting home automation systems where you can set different rooms to turn on and off at different points in the day. Kitchen during dinner time. Bedrooms at night, etc. My neighbor did that and it fooled me. I rang his doorbell to ask to borrow a pressure washer wand, with no response. Figured he was with family and wasn't taking any more visitors, but turns out he's been on vacation for the past 4 days. Not a burglar but learned this from my sister who would steal stuff from our mom while cleaning. If it's in a place they can find it just by cleaning, the maid style burglar will find it under the bed or a pillow, underneath the bag in the trash can, and the worst because even if it's discovered missing, fire is possible deniability. Also for the older not tech savvy people, do not hide money in the fucking optical drive, aka where you put the CDs and DVDs on your computer. IDKY, my grandma thought that was a good hiding spot. Not really hide, but don't leave stuff in your car. When I was in high school we did our fair share of car hopping. I am learning a lot from the comments. Keep it coming please. Thanks. Not a burglar but grew up in a high crime area and knew some boys out there hitting licks. Bit off topic, but there were some guys that would ride a bike through busy parking lots searching for women loading up after shopping and leaving their purse unattended in their shopping cart. Ride by and snatch, then have a getaway route that a full-sized vehicle can't follow them through. To directly answer your question, I'm going to look under your bed. I'm going to dump out any drawer I find. I'm checking your freezer. I'm looking under the bathroom cabinet. Think that incredibly smart hiding spot you saw in a spy movie will work? We watch spy movies too. Is really going to be a matter of security versus convenience for you. If it takes me more than a minute to get to something, and don't forget I'm more than willing to break shit to get to stuff, then it's not worth my trouble. I want to be out of your house in less than 15 minutes tops. Special care should be made sure to not keep valuables in places like safe deposit boxes or banks. Burglars know that's where valuable items are kept, so that is obviously the first place they would look. Instead, you should keep everything you value right out in the open behind unlocked doors and windows. Any safe that's not bolted down and is small enough for 1-2 people to carry isn't safe at all. Also, my ex's grandfather had a safe stolen from his home that was bolted down. The thieves wrapped a chain around it and ran it out the window to a truck. Took the safe straight through the wall. All they had to do was follow the drag marks though, but still. Not really a burglar, but if you're shoplifting, under the shirt or in front of your nuts nowhere else. This just reminded me that I knew a guy who would conspicuously look around, pick up something moderately bulky, and shove it under his shirt. Then he'd browse elsewhere and very smoothly remove the item and go about his shopping. His entire goal was to get caught for not stealing. Probably the finest example of a contrived, utterly time-wasting gotem. I heard a lot of people hide stuff in the air vents. Is it searched usually? Also, my mum used to hide what little valuables we had in a small space behind our washing machine. A really heavy one. Except if you knew it was there, you couldn't know there was a space here and that it was accessible. She had to spend 10-15 minutes hiding stuff because it was really hard to access. So I guess that burglars wanting to do their thing as quickly as possible wouldn't spend time looking there. Had my home burgled twice. Best place to hide jewelry is in the bottom hem of your curtains. Taking off a valuable ring before you shower but don't want to go all the way to your jewelry box hidey hole? Tuck them in the curtain hem. It's not a long-term solution, but getting into the habit of keeping your good shit out of plain sight will save you on the day someone breaks in. It is so easy to leave earrings, rings, bracelets laying around. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more interviews.